Boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, kitty cats and doggies of all ages, it is a very rainy and snowy day here in Central Ohio. It is beautiful Sunday, the something or other, early 2014, and I'm in very high spirits today. I'm alone here in my place, and normally that would kind of bring me down a little bit, but it's nothing. I think now it's so extremely temporary. You know how like you feel something big is coming in your life, you can just feel it in the air or whatever, the spiritual world, I don't know. That's the way I feel. So, and today's the last day of my Christmas vacation, going back to work tomorrow, weather permitting. I guess I'm kind of excited to get that part of my new year started. I mean, I don't particularly love being somewhere away from home for 8-9 hours a day, but I do like getting back in touch with everybody, and it is nice to get out, to get active again. I could have been more active this Christmas break, but I chose not to. I chose to actually, going into Christmas break last year, this time around, my thinking was to be as relaxed as possible, to completely recuperate, rejuve. And for me, it was all about traveling, and then the reality came in that I had spent so much money on the studio. There was absolutely no allowance in the budget for any kind of trip. So I just enjoyed my home. Guy or girl, single or married, whatever the case is, you should focus on making your house a place that you will enjoy being, a place that you like to look at, you like to wake up in that environment. And if it's not the case, then obviously there's some work required to make those changes needed. One of the things I do every couple months or so, if I feel like it, if it's kind of calling my name, I will rearrange the furniture, especially down in this room. The upstairs has pretty much stayed the same, except for little changes in the studio here and there, but this room downstairs, the living room and dining room, both, they feel like completely different rooms, and when I come home, it's like coming to a different house. So it definitely gives things a fresh vibe. I'm not into feng shui, but there is an element of feng shui that does appeal to me very much, and that is how you position things in your environment. I believe that your house is supposed to be where you spend most of your time, and if you're working so much to where you're never home, you might want to change your life, because you're not going to be a very good help to other people if you're not fully healthy yourself. If that makes any sense. And home needs to be your place of peace, your place of rest. And your place of recognition where you can be your true self. When I grew up, it wasn't always easy to be at home, and I constantly fantasized about being an adult and having my own life. Whether I was living in a cardboard box or living in this apartment I have now, I consider this great success personally. So I look back on it and I'm very thankful. But I like to tell people and coach people, your house needs to be your sanctuary, needs to be a place you can pray, a place you can, most of all, 100% be yourself. If there's conflict in your home due to a toxic relationship or a toxic mind, make those changes. Anyways, that's not at all why I picked up the camera. I picked up the camera because I'm very excited to eat a huge burrito from Chipotle and continue watching this movie, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. And that's because I started watching it a little bit earlier and I wasn't sure if it'd be any good or not. I picked it up kind of because I was not necessarily in the mood to watch a movie, but I was in the mood to buy a new movie, and just more so one I haven't seen before. Every once in a while I do that just for fun. And so far the movie's pretty good. It's kind of like Shawshank Redemption, Green Mile-ish, Forrest Gump, cult classic, or maybe not cult classic, but it definitely has the vibage going on that I like. And I always like Jack Nicholson, and this is like classic Jack Nicholson. Very awesome job as far as the acting. And the one woman from Flowers in the Attic, the crazy grandma, plays like the doctor or nurse or something in the psych ward. It's very interesting to see her as a young woman rather than the grandma type. I don't know if I've ever seen her in another movie. I don't even know her name. I'm sure she's a lot more famous, and I just gave her credit for it. But so little things like that make the day interesting. And I thought I would just try to remember this day as a peaceful day. It's raining outside, and the snow is getting washed away by the rain. It's like an annoying cold where it's not a scary cold, but it's just a wet, annoying cold. I'm not sure how to describe it. So when I came in here, took my coat off, took my wet shoes and socks off. No matter what shoes you wear, it seems like your socks get wet. My socks actually got wet when I stood on the rug by the door after I took my shoes off. So the only alternative is leave my shoes on all day, but those are kind of wet, or just take the old socks off too. And I was just happy that it's dry, I'm warm, I got an amazing burrito. I will constantly praise it. You can't go wrong with Chipotle. It's impossible. It's 100% impossible to go wrong with Chipotle. Just like it's impossible to go wrong with Chinese buffet. It's not a possibility to go wrong at the Chinese buffet. And then I got this movie, which is a fun time. So this is True Life with Doug right here, buddy.